This is what it is. This is great fun. This is proper sessions.
Yeah.
60s sessions.
Absolutely.
Alright then. So I'm going to record this one.
Hey guys, Andy Pickering here. On today's video I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be collaborating with a fan of the channel, and the guy is called Gianluca, and he's from Switzerland. He has a studio there. He's into analog gear, of course, and writes very 60s music, so you can see how he's found me. If you're new to the channel, I like to, from start to finish of a recording process using lots of analog gear and lots of 60s inspired songwriting, I like to cover the whole journey, and then right at the end of the video you'll get the finished mix of the song played right from the tape. So this project came about because me and Gianluca had worked together. I'd done some session organ for him. His band are called The Rules, and he has a record label called Serpentine Records. And I'll show you just a clip of the organ that I did for him here. So Gianluca had a song, or has a song, a demo, which is called Search for Something More, and said he'd really like me to do what I usually do with my music, which is take it to the All You Need Is Drums Joe Montague studio and work with the drummer, work with Chris. So there'll be 3 session players, including myself, in the room, getting down a basic track. And then he's going to do his overdubs, and then I'm going to mix it. And the idea is that he wants the mixing side of it to be as lo-fi as possible, going on to a 4-track recorder cassette, mixing to tape and using all analog effects. And we'll go through all those steps and how the journey of the song went from basically the demo to the finished thing. I'm really excited to sort of get into this. But before we go on that journey, I'm going to show you some footage now of Gianluca in his studio talking a little bit about himself and the project. Nice one.
Hello, my name is Gianluca. Maybe just a short notice on how I found Andy Pickering on the net. I found him via YouTube, as probably most of you all have done, and he was actually the inspiration on on making all analog, on making working with limitations basically, and so in summary, working with an 8-track tape machine. And this was the inspiration why I bought this thing here. And this inspired me on building my own studio. And it started from there, and it evolved, with a mix board, and then obviously to something to mix on it. It's then a 2-track Studer. And I'm really literally building my own studio. Like literally, I'm really building a control room and the live room. This here is my logo, and and this here is where we play. This song is from The Rules, is our band. And my hopes for the project is to make a song that's sounding, I don't know, that's got the vibe. Alright, cheers, mate.
Are calling bright, starry night feels so alive. Take my hand, you'll seek for something new. Come and take a ride with me through swirling skies and endless seas. Big eyes, bright lights, let's lose.
So approaching this live session, I started with a Zombies-like Wurlitzer electric piano part, which then Chris bounced off beautifully with a groovy little bass line. And then Joe locked us all together with some great drumming, of course. Basically a bit of rehearsals, then we all played together live at the same time and got a take we were happy with. We had about an hour left at the end of the day, so I decided to track some of my Gibson J160E just to top the session off, and I think it went really well. Okay, so here we go. This is the finished live session audio. Of course, we've mixed the drums down, but basically just be sending over 4 tracks to Gianluca to work with, and he'll be creating an arrangement from this. So everything's sounding nice and tight, nothing is processed apart from the drums. We record, you know, with effects on them like compression and whatnot, but everything else is just dry. Bass was mic'd and DI'd, that's a blend, and the acoustic's just a mic. But everything's just, you know, dry and clean at the moment. But I think we got a really nice solid rhythm track which will be sent over to Switzerland to be finished, and I can't wait to hear what it sounds like when we get it back.
We're seeking something new. I've been around, seen 1,000 places.
While Gianluca was working on the track at his studio, he decided he wanted me to do a Vox Continental organ, which I used my vintage Vox there and did a session for him which sounded like this.
I will describe how it evolved from the session he recorded, and how he decided to do the overdubs, and essentially coming up with these 8 final tracks, which are bass, drums, cello, acoustic, the Wurlitzer, the organ, piano, the electric guitar, and the vocals. And so the cello here and my voice, as also the electric guitar, I overdubbed. And essentially I wanted to make the song more psychedelic. It started as a very simplistic, very early 60s song, kind of like the Zombies, She's Not There. And I thought that I wanted it a bit more psychedelic, and that's why I decided to record a cello. Having the cello in it, I decided to cut the drums that were playing during the verse, because they were then were not complementing each other a lot. So I basically replaced the drums that were playing in the verse. I replaced it with the cello, and I also added some lead guitar during the chorus to give it more of a rhythmic kind of thing. So you hear these are multiple guitars, these are 2 guitars playing that I recorded. One is a Strat and one is a Les Paul. I recorded the vocals over the tracks from Andy, and then while bouncing all together, I bounced all the tracks. These were like 16 tracks. and I bounced them to 8 tracks on my 8-track tape machine, which is here. And basically then I had 8 tracks that then I recorded that you are seeing here. But while doing this, I speeded up the tape. So basically here on the function, on the vary speed, I notched it up quite a bit to having the effect on the vocals to yeah, to have this a bit of a high-pitched Lennon vibe.
I've been around, seen 1,000 places.
And here is the final multi-track list, which is 8 tracks, because he bounced his multi-tracks through his Revox 8-track reel-to-reel. So from the original session, the live session, the drums, bass and Wurlitzer electric piano is there, and on the drum track there's tambourine percussion overdubbed there. We have vocals all together there,
Look around, see a million
which are
faces.
all on one track. We've got some electric guitar overdubs that he's done, cello overdub, as you've seen, and clubbed together he's got the acoustic guitar that I actually did on the day in the studio as an overdub, but he has clubbed that together with some of his own guitar picking on one track. So this is all nice work at his end, which is working in bussing things together and bouncing down, because in my world, well, I hate loads of multi-tracks. And last but not least, down here is the Vox organ that I did in my session. So I'm going to take these elements now, record some analog effects and bounce onto the 4-track. Okay, so the first thing down here is just going to be a vocal delay mixed with reverb. So I'll be delaying from the reel-to-reel tape 7.5 inches a second, then I'm sending it through my outboard down here, EQ, wet spring reverb, and then I'm compressing it down here, and then that's coming back into the session. So on its own it just sounds like a very compressed, affected vocal, but when that's blended with the dry vocal, that's going to sound really psychedelic and lush, rich. So what I'm doing now is the left and the right hand side reverbs individually recorded, as I only have a mono unit, and this is all in planning with what's going to be panned on the 4-track. But it is important for me to record all these effects first before going to the 4-track, as it just wouldn't be possible with those limitations. And that's simply sending the left and right separately through the reverb and compression and the EQ, and that will be blended in with the track as it goes down to tape. Okay, so that's the basic effects recorded into this session here. Everything that's coming out of this session is grouped into mono out 2, mono out 3. So 3 mono groups, with the idea that the stuff down the middle will stay down the middle, the stuff on the left will stay on the left, stuff on the right stay on the right, and all the appropriate reverbs that I've done will be with those. Okay, so here is the 4-track all set up and ready, and I've got the stuff down the middle, the stuff on the left, stuff on the right, all ready to record here. So my tracks are armed and all appropriate gain staging is achieved. So I've got a nice healthy signal. The tape's ready to go.
You hold the world in frame. Now
So that was the bass, the drums and vocals and vocal effect.
Drop the veil and let us look for more.
And then the left side was Wurlitzer piano and electric guitar when that does come in. And then the right side was cello and acoustic guitar, bit of Vox organ later in the track.
Look around, see a million faces.
But overall, I've got as good a balance as I'm going to get. And now on this fourth track, I'm going to create a bounce down of all these elements as hot as possible, as compressed as possible, and that's going to blend in with the rest of the track and just give it a finished flavour. And there's just going to be now a full mono mix on track 4 of all the elements. So this layer here is basically super glue. You're going to get the benefit of everything being blended together all nicely in an analog way, but then I've got the integrity of the original tracks there to mix, and also I've got the pan controls where I'll be able to, on the final mix, separate the different channels across the stereo field, so it should all balance really nicely. Okay, and we're all set up now for a mix. This is actually Gianluca's tape that he sent me, so you can't get more analog than that. I'm actually going to be posting the track to him. So here we go, everything is balanced, the tracks don't need to be touched, I don't need to ride the faders, it's just a simple recording onto the 2-track, and we're going to get that final 60s flavour from a 1968 Revox A77. I'm going to insert the audio into the video now so you can hear the finished mix. Here we go.
You hold the world in frame. Now let's play a wilder game. Drop the veil and let us look for more. The stars are calling bright. Starry night feels so alive. Take my hand, we're seeking something new. In 1,000 places. Look around, see a million faces. The music melts to gold. All this feels so rock and roll. Your lips to mine, the touch of something new. The morning starts to rise. Your reflection needs my
I just received the song back from Andy, and I just listened to it, and it's sounding absolutely incredible. I'm very pleased with the result, and I can recommend it to anyone who wants to have this kind of analog, vintagey sound, and I'm very, very happy with the result, and I'm happy to, well, for other projects in the future. And I hope you enjoy the song. Thanks again, Andy, and cheers from Bern, Switzerland, from Serpentine Records.
Okay, so there we go. Super happy with how that turned out, and the idea of taking, you know, loads of tracks, making them down to 8 tracks, making them down to 4 tracks, then making them down to 2 tracks, and that generational loss each time it goes down. It's all purposeful in the sound. We're intentionally making it sound lo-fi, and that's what Gianluca wanted, and I'm really happy that he's happy with how it all turned out, and he's got exactly what he sort of wanted in the first place from this entire project. Okay, so that's it for today. If you want to work with me, obviously I do session keyboards, and now I'm able to also offer mixing, of course, but also a backing band like you saw in the video. We can record backing tracks for maybe you're a singer-songwriter but you don't have a band and you want someone to record a professionally recorded 60s-esque backing track for your music. That's definitely something that I'm able to offer now. So I had a lot of fun with this one, and you can hear it in the mix. Thanks to Gianluca for the opportunity to work with him and on his project. And I guess all the links are below for his music, my music, services, blah, 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 everything. And yeah, I'll keep making videos and see everyone again soon. Cheers, bye.